Hi everyone, my name is Matha Neshma from the Department of Commerce in Albertian College, Autonomous. And today we are going to discuss about statistical survey. Okay, first of all, we can have a look at what is statistical. It means a method of studying a problem by collecting numerical figures through survey. And next we have a survey. It refers to a search of knowledge or information or a truth of something. And statistical survey, it implies a search conducted with the aid of statistical method of collection, analysis and interpretation of data. We can have a look at the collection of data. Collection of data refers to the methods that are to be employed for obtaining the required information from the units under investigation. The second one, it depends upon the nature and object on one hand, and next will be the time and availability of money will be on the other hand. And there are two types of data, that is primary data and secondary data. Now we can have a look at the primary data. Primary data are the data originally collected for an investigation, and they are collected from the primary sources, and these data are collected for the first time and they are in the form of raw material. The methods of collecting primary data are: first one is the observation method, second one is the interview method, third one is questionnaire method, and fourth one is schedule method. First, we can have a look at an observation method. It is a method under which data is collected with the help of observation by the observer or by a person going into a field. The investigator should go into a field with a proper planning, and there should be a curious observation, and if there is no such observation, the purpose of observation will not be served. And the next one is, as the observation work is over, the things having importance should be recorded immediately. And the last one is, it is a direct method of study wherein personally going into the field, observe situation and object with his own eyes. The second method is interview method. It is a two-way conversation between an investigator and informant initiated for obtaining information relevant to a specific study. And it is a method of obtaining a verbal answers, and it is flexible process of data collection. Since the interview personally goes to the field and meets the people, the participation rates will also be high. The third method is questionnaire method. It refers to a device for securing answers to a question by using a form which respondent himself has to fill up. It ensures a reasonable standard of accuracy and no chance of personal bias, helps to collect original data, and respondents can be easily approached, and it gives sufficient time to the respondent to think and sends the replies. And the fourth one is schedule method. Schedule is the name usually applied to a set of questions which are asked and filled by the investigator in a face-to-face contact, and the question should be worded that there should not be any gap what is asked by the interviewer or investigator and what is understood by the respondent. And third one is, it should be prepared in a specified manner so that the respondents gets inspired to give correct information. Now we can have a look at what is secondary data. Secondary data are those which are collected from published and unpublished sources. Such data have already been collected by some other persons for some purposes. Data are available in the published and unpublished reports, letters, etc. And sources of data are journals, newspapers, books, annual returns of companies, yearbooks, etc. Now we can have a look of a difference between primary data and secondary data. Primary data, it is collected from a primary sources, and secondary data, it is collected from a secondary sources. And it is collected for the first time in primary data. In secondary data, it is collected for a second time. And it is in the shape of raw material, and while in the case of secondary data, it is shape of the finished goods. And it goes into further analysis and changes its shape and thereby in course of its use. And in case of secondary data, it is used as such without any change in its shape. And the last point, it needs more resources in terms of money. And in the case of secondary data, it needs less amount of resources in terms of money. And this is what a general discussion about a statistical survey, that is primary data and secondary data, we have just discussed. Thank you.